Podcast. It is the scariest time of the year, election season. I am here with my co-host, Chris, and I am Dylan.
And we are here with our first guest of the show, Kristen. Would you like to say hello?
Hello.
We have Chris and Kristen.
Yep.
This is incredible. First guest, welcomed on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We are super happy to have you.
Pleasure to have you. So how's it feel being the first guest of the show?
Is it a privilege?
Yes, it feels like a privilege.
Do you think you know what you're in for?
No.
Well,
I have no idea. You just did a 20-second introduction. Does that happen every time?
Yeah.
It's depends. We do have a theme song.
So that's not on there, but
we do have a theme song. It's just a fun way to introduce the countdown. Get that.
Very cool.
We know it's on. It's showtime.
So we have a sort of a thing. It's like when we have a guest on the show, even though you are the first one, sort of a thing. This is where you would tell us how great the podcast is.
Oh yeah, I love the podcast.
It's amazing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
There's only been a couple episodes. My favorite part is the beginning.
Okay.
I love the part almost as much as the middle.
The middle's fantastic, but you know what? I'm gonna go out on a fucking limb here. The ending.
Dude, the ending. How could I forget about the ending?
Honestly, guys, I think the ending was my least favorite part.
Oh my god!
Because
hot
there
take.
was
hot take coming out of the
take.
gate. Oh my gosh!
Another show for me to listen to.
Available on Google Podcast. Coming soon to Apple.
We are.
We got all the ways to listen.
We're like a.
That's exciting.
Yeah. We're like a Rockefeller. Got our hands in everything.
You got to.
So
before we get into it, I think we got to talk about
some maybe murder or maybe not murder details
murder,
about a famous
murder question mark.
A famous Tim Burton actor, and he shot a woman. Excuse us. We said last week.
Yes.
Shot a man, murdered a man. In fact, we were hasty. The news was just rolling out. Would you like to tell about what more accurately happened so you can...
Yeah, so like it's crazy because I felt bad whenever I think we did talk a little bit too hastily. Like we had a two paragraph news blurb about this, and then
a notification.
Yeah, I mean literally a notification, and then that's what we had to go on, and we probably didn't have to say anything about it, and maybe let like journalists and stuff handle it, but we chose not to, and that's on us. So we might have said some things that were pretty inaccurate. We did say that he possibly murdered someone, and it doesn't seem like that was the case. It doesn't seem like that at all. Although there were so many
live rounds on set.
Yeah, so there were so many theories like circulating in the days after, immediately, about like how this could possibly happen. It happened on the set of another show, this and that. It isn't exactly unheard of, and then theories blown wide open. Because it's a real live round. And that doesn't make any sense to me.
We discussed this off air, me and Kristen here. Possibly a plant.
I don't even know, man.
A setup? Did we discuss that?
Not me, sir.
Maybe it was someone else off the air. It could have been anybody at this point.
I mean, I'm sure you're talking to everybody about it.
Like, yeah, of course. It's
one of the most important things gripping the nation right now.
So, all right, it is, that, and I want to bring that into question real quick. Not to go all conspiratorial in the first 4 minutes of the show, but do you think it's just another distraction potentially for Election Day? People talk about Alex Baldwin shooting a guy, not about the important issues of a candidate? I
don't.
No.
It'd be pretty insane for this to happen in, where was it, like Arizona or something like that?
Something like that. Somewhere in the desert.
And the election day that we're really talking about is here in Virginia.
True.
So that'd be a pretty bold strategy.
It is pretty bold, but if anyone can get away with it, it's bold.
I also did say that he was I think I said he was a Vicodin champion.
Yes.
And I was wrong on that. It's
Percocet.
Ambien, I thought.
Ambien. Okay.
I think it's actually Ambien.
Ambien. Okay.
Fan of the Ambien. And then yes, we did also say that it was a man, and it was a woman. It was a woman who was killed by a live round on a movie set for reasons unknown.
Yep. So we wanted to correct ourselves.
Got to stay true.
Got to. we don't want to sully anyone's good name, which potentially in the future we might have to correct a few things.
We might.
We might have to.
We might.
'Cause there's definitely a few things I listened back to and I'm like, oh man, I fucked up there, which potentially could be a lot. You never know.
The post-recording cringe fest that is listening to the show the next day before we actually post it.
Yeah, it's like,
God,
oh
that
man,
is
that's just wrong.
Could have said that. Could have said this. Definitely shouldn't have said that.
So, I think one of the best things you said was it 2 podcasts ago now?
I don't know what I say.
What this week's episode is about.
Yes. Tonight we are going to be talking about patriotism.
Patriotism.
Or, if you were listening 2 pods ago, I had said we were going to be talking about patriotism because I was way too drunk on pod. But, I was just kind of vibing. It was like a whole thing, and I didn't want to not be able to record simply because I'd had a few too many adult pops.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
It does.
And that's exactly why this episode's coming out a couple days late.
It is.
It happens to the best of us. As I said, turns out copious amounts of alcohol and 3 Red Bulls all at once is a recipe for disaster.
And who are we talking about right now, just so we're clear? Because I know I was...
That's me.
Okay, because I was owning mine. I just want to make sure.
No, you powered through the pod, and we got the gem of patriotism. Whereas I took a shower until the hot water stopped working.
Different paths, man.
Thanks for being the pal and hanging in there with me.
Different paths.
And
I waited with you for an hour and a half.
Today, talking about patriotism.
We are.
Specifically, how would you like to talk about patriotism?
So I've got a lot of thoughts on this. This was kind of something that I've been wanting to talk about. This might be part of the reason I wanted to have a podcast to talk about this specifically, because I've just really got some ideas. So, but mainly, I think it's just a very loaded word in our time, and I think that it gets thrown around a lot. People are either patriotic or unpatriotic, and I think we need to talk about what that actually means.
Think it's black and white?
I don't.
Ooh.
I don't at all. But, yeah, so I think we can talk about that, because I also see a lot of, like, this co-opting from the right of just, like, we're the patriotic people, and you're the people, if you don't agree with us.
I got a few names I'm going to throw around.
Hate America. If you don't fly American flags out of the back of your jacked-up pickup truck, then you hate America. If you don't have red, white, and blue cupcakes at your cookout, then you hate America, obviously.
Oh my God, you better have stars on those napkins.
Yes. So that's probably, that's kind of what I want to talk about. I have some thoughts, and I'm sure you guys have some thoughts, and I think we can have a nice little round table about this.
All right.
So with that being said, I would like to open up the floor to my first question, if that's okay.
Please do.
Well, I would say, what does patriotism mean to you?
You can go first.
Okay. All right, so I want to start by defining patriotism.
Ooh, do it.
So it's like, just Google, Wikipedia, whatever. Patriotism, the quality of being patriotic, semicolon. Devotion to and vigorous support for one's country. But that's just one definition.
Indeed.
Some might say simply love for one's country, which that's the way I learned it. I don't know about y'all in the schools here in the States. Love for your country and what it stands for. Some would also say, I think you need support for our troops. You need to support our leaders.
I'm glad you brought those up. We'll probably circle back to those.
Mm-hmm. Some would even say God first, country second.
Oh, those people are fucking wrong.
Patriot? Maybe. Some would even say patriotism is a bad thing, that it's harmful to democracy. Potentially.
Possible hot take.
Possible. I read one take that said patriotism is kind of like the glue, for better or worse.
So that's a lot of very nifty things. What do you think about it, Chris?
So I think patriotism does mean love for one's country, and that's a kind of a loaded word, love. So whatever it means to you, varying degrees. I think with patriotism, you can really, love what your country does, perhaps even what it stands for. Maybe to me, I think personally, it just means like I like being here. Like I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. I think America has some good shit going for it. It has its flaws, much like anything else does. But I think for like what we can do in this country compared to like some other countries, including but not limited to majorly running water, fucking Wi-Fi, like even things like that. I know other parts of the world have that, but speaking English, that sort of thing, not having to, just the luxury of the United States for everything it is, the vast amounts of people. Like I said, I grew up in an area where there's lots of military, so lots of different crazy people. So I love everybody, and I think that's the spirit of patriotism, loving that part of it. You know what I mean? What America is, can be, and should be. And I do think that is, as they say in Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I love it.
So I think that...
I agree. I think you said it really well.
I think those three things especially, like, that's what this country's about. And me personally would die to protect those values for this country. Like, and I guess as a whole in general, it's like, even if it wasn't about the country, like, I'd still do it to make sure we can all live, pursuit of happiness, all that shit I just said. So I think for those things, which I think are pretty good, we should hold these dear, then yeah, I would, try to keep that going, 'cause I think it's pretty good. As totally opposite those things are to killing, I wouldn't necessarily kill, but I would definitely die for it. You know what I mean? I think those are two different things.
I get that.
So I wouldn't necessarily kill for it, but I'd die for it for sure.
It's well said.
That's how I feel about patriotism.
Okay. I'm going to kick it over to you.
Chris and I talked about this a little bit.
Maybe that's what we were talking about
Earlier today.
It wasn't about the other thing.
When he asked we were talking about the podcast and the category for tonight. And his question kind of was like, has patriotism changed? Which, of course, made me think, like, what do I think about patriotism? Because, you don't have, in a one-on-one conversation, I can't just, like, go to Google and look up the definition. Like, I gotta know what it is, right?
From the heart, like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's just to you.
Like, he asked me a question to my face. So I kind of went on, like, patriotism can't change. It is what it is. Like, you have to get real specific when you're asking about, like, changes and stuff like that. Like, the word can't change. Like, it's defined as what it is.
So you think, like, the essence of patriotism has just always been the same? Like, love and, like, a devotion to one's country?
Yes.
You think that's sort of always been the same? Not
necessarily, like, devotion, but, like, love and support.
Undying love?
I don't know about unconditional love, because I think that's reserved for, like, special things, but
not patriotism.
I just don't know, because I know that
I can't
everyone has individual values, and if your country leaves from your values, then I don't know, you can still love your country, and you can still support them, but
you're making great points.
There's other, like, things that are changing. Like, we can't change the word patriotism just because we want to. It is what it is, and it's the love and support of your country, and it's wanting to be in that country versus anywhere else and belong to that country and support that country, which includes supporting people you might not want to support.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about it, Dylan?
So coming to me, I can sort of sum it up this way. I believe that a good patriot is like a good parent. And I believe that a good parent understands that they have two roles to play in their child's life. They have to play that of an active participant who guides and steers them. And they also have to know that they are at times going to be a bystander. And they have to just observe what is happening around them. And there's not much they can do about it.
They have to be a representative, huh?
A little bit. Yeah. And as I said, so like being a participant, to me, that's the sort of things that are like voting. Like, I mean, that's how you make your mark, you know. That's, you know, I think being involved, staying, paying attention. I think that's important. I think you got to stay informed. Kind of like, again, like a good parent, you know, you gotta be aware of what your kid's doing so you can guide them and know where they're headed. But you also have to be able to give them the room to make some mistakes. And you don't, like, I love being told, and this has happened a lot recently, that I'm un-American, because it's pretty hilarious to me.
For what examples? What were you doing that you got accused?
Just so, like, one of my, we'll get into this a little bit later. I take a hard stance on not wearing American flags.
It's disrespectful, isn't it?
I mean, yes, you're not technically supposed to, but that's not why I don't wear it. I think we also covered this in the 9/11 pod. But I do take a hard stance on it. I do not wear American flags. Like, I don't have an American flag t-shirt. I just don't wear it. And I was telling that verbatim that I just don't think you should to someone, and they said that's un-American. And that's stupid.
I could see how someone might think that, but I don't think it is.
I mean, I don't even see how you would think it. To me, it doesn't even make sense to me. Because I don't like...
Well, like I said, I think it's potentially disrespectful. You're not supposed to wear at least like a flag-made garment for sure, but I think even just a regular thing, like, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I also see, like, having the support for it.
I don't see it as support.
I don't think that you need to support it, though.
I don't see it as support.
Like, buying a t-shirt isn't going to make you a patriot.
Exactly, and that's my problem with it. And again, we come back to one of my favorite phrases that I ever came up with, the t-shirtification of patriotism.
The t-shirtification of patriotism.
And that's what I see. And you talk about, has patriotism changed? I believe it has. I believe patriotism has changed. I think patriotism is turning into this thing that is far more capitalistic, and it's just being usurped by, it's just stuff that you buy. Like, we were talking about fireworks earlier. It's
yeah, napkins with stars on them.
like, oh, what, you're not going to set off fireworks on the 4th of July? Well, what, you're not patriotic? Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, fireworks, something about me, like, maybe it's just, like, indulging. Like, tonight's Halloween, you know, so, like, I really would like to indulge in it, to wear makeup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just relishing in it just 'cause I fucking can. So I think on 4th of July, like, I do want to fucking chow down that hot dog off the grill. I do want to light up a firework. But you're right. It is exactly that. It's capitalistic. They're trying to sell you a patriotic product.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's very manipulative, because it preys on people's desire to want to be patriotic. But it's just like, you're just being constantly bombarded with, well, if you don't have all this red, white, and blue shit on a holiday, then you're not being patriotic enough. So you have to go out and buy it. And it, like, at the bakery, it was Memorial Day. This is a while back, obviously, but it was Memorial Day, and we had a lady come in, and she wanted a cake that said "Happy Birthday, America." So she just knew that she wanted red, white, and blue and something, you know, rah, 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 America. Didn't even fucking understand that it was not even the right day.
Wow.
Like, that's like, it is a layer of patriotism that, if it exists, is like just a thin veil. It's just a veneer of patriotism.
So I feel like a lot of people feel that same way about, it is going to offend some people, but I don't mean it that way. Like, God. I feel like they've had that same level of understanding, you know, like, you know, You just said maybe it's like so I could see someone thinking Easter is Jesus' birthday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like I could see that happening.
I get that.
Making a cake.
Kind of is.
Making a cake. It kind of is. He's reborn, right?
I mean,
came back to life.
You're not totally wrong. You're not totally wrong. And so I think also going back to what you were saying about has patriotism changed, I can honestly point to two very specific points that I see patriotism changing, and I think
as well.
And I think changing for the worse. I mean, certainly for the worse. I think it's terrible what happened to patriotism in these two drawn out events. So the first will be the Cold War, where if you wanted to, especially through like McCarthyism, the Red Scare, all of this, it literally was just like you had to just keep becoming more and more, wear more red, white, and blue, sing more patriotic songs, and you just got to do all this bullshit to make sure that people know, oh, no, I'm an American. I'm not one of those. So I definitely see some of that, and then I see it come back again with an absolute vengeance. We already talked about this, War on Terror, the post 9/11 era. Man.
You know, I think you say, right, so 9/11, essentially.
Yes.
Right?
9/11 changed a lot of it.
So I think we kind of discussed potential title for this. The hijacking of the planes coincided with the hijacking of patriotism.
It did.
It did.
It truly did. You turned it into the fucking Toby Keith patriotism. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that sort of just, it's just so superficial. It's so superficial.
I think with that, you had a lot of, so I think in ways it changed, like I said, in the 50s, McCarthyism. I think after 9/11, it changed via just like the news outlets. Wouldn't you say so?
What do you mean?
So I feel like maybe it's just like after 9/11, the news just seemed to always be on. But then you always have like,
I get that.
So after that,
so we did coincide sort of with the. I mean, not directly, but it was in the same sort of time period that you got 24-hour news.
That's what I'm saying.
And
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to fill time, and then especially like shows like Fox News. You know, you had like your Bill O'Reillys and all those political analysts.
Is that what you want to call them? Talking heads?
Yeah, pretty much. And not to say that's like CNN doesn't have their own. Looking at you, Don Lemon.
Don Lemon do to you? Fucking
nothing yet.
Joan of Arc and Don fucking Lemon, they are on Chris's
list. I'm pretty sure Don Lemon is not real. I'm pretty sure he is an animatronic of sorts, potentially a hologram even. When's the last time you see him outside?
Never. But I haven't seen any.
Exhibit A.
I don't get out very much.
So yeah, I think you had like those kind of personalities. I'll use that term loosely. You know, those kind of people, even like things like the like the Daily Show would kind of harp on making those things joke about those people, and I think perhaps that like the conservatives will say pretty much, right? So I
just say the right.
Yeah, the right. So the right kind of like I think really latches on to the big patriotism, and I think the left is like they want to be so far from the right they unfortunately associate patriotism exclusively with them.
Yes.
That they don't want to be a part of that, and that's how it's kind of changed. Hence the hijacking of patriotism.
And that is part of like I mean I know I have friends like me that are incredibly left-minded that think patriotism in and of itself is a bad thing. And I'm like, no, you should be patriotic. You should be willing. I'll go back to my parent analogy. Like, and you kind of touched on this as well, that you don't have it. You aren't a parent. I'm trying to phrase this right. A parent doesn't hate their kid if they're trying to tell them, hey, this is a bad thing that you're doing, or you were raised better than this. This isn't the values that we're about. A parent isn't a bad parent because they're telling their kid, no, you're not doing that. You see what I mean? Like
I understand that you want to be a good parent, so you kind of like see what they'll do. And
that's what really makes me crack up about like people saying that I'm un-American because I don't want to wear a flag. Because I spent 4 years screaming into my pillow nightly at what was happening to my freaking country. And yeah, that was not because I hate this country.
Good night, Dylan. Good night, Mom.
Just existential screams. Yeah, those 4 years was pretty fucking recently, by the way. But yeah, I mean, like, that's not un-American. It wasn't un-American that was causing me to feel that way. It was the fact that I love this country and I know it can be so much better. I believe in the values that this country instilled in me. And now I am going to do my part and make this country live up to those values. I mean, we are a nation of fucking immigrants. And we think that we're somehow supposed to, no. The right's patriotic because they want to keep the immigrants out of our country.
I know what we did to the fucking Native Americans. Fucked up.
Like, no, bruh. Like, you don't get to just have all your friends move in and then go, sorry guys, we're not, no, you can't move in our fucking neighborhood. No,
that's like the name of the game for this fucking country. It's like, come here.
I mean, the Statue of Liberty, the poem by Lazarus at the base of the Statue of Liberty.
Do you know it?
I do know it. I'm not going to do the whole thing,
okay.
But I do know it. It's literally one of my favorite poems. But the term,
hearing it sometime.
She is the Statue of Liberty is the mother of exiles.
Yeah, she's a great guy.
That's who she is. She welcomes everyone. So that is an American idea to me, and I will stand up for those values because when I see, I mean, the Muslim ban, like that's somehow how is that supposed to be patriotic? It's literally in our Constitution that we will not discriminate against how you want to worship. You have the right to worship however you wish or don't worship however you wish.
So do you think you can still support a country with doing that sort of thing and still be patriotic?
What do you mean?
Do you think you can still be patriotic if you, like, you may not support that decision, but you're still can you still be patriotic?
Oh yeah, because I didn't support anything. I didn't support a decision that was made in the entire Trump presidency, but I'm still patriotic.
What do you think about?
And I honestly believe that I am patriotic because I didn't support a single thing that he wanted to fucking do.
What do you think about when he gave those? I think it was like college ball players a bunch of McDonald's hamburgers. You know, they usually get like a nice feast.
I do. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Not for it.
I mean, I don't fucking care. I just think it's just all laughable. But I'm talking about like the more destructive shit. Like, I mean, just the casual eroding of our fucking democratic values. Like, fucking the people that are like people waving Confederate flags as they storm the fucking capital of this country. And then saying that they're the patriots and they're going to hang the vice president?
All right.
What the fuck?
That's some fucked up shit. I do not agree with that at all. I detest it. Disavow all that shit. Like, separate me from far as that as possible. The only thing that, like, makes me, like, you know, part of what I think of patriotism, honestly, like I said, is, you know, there is part of revolution inherently in this country, I think, you know. Declaration of Independence, it was like, y'all motherfuckers want to tax us, but y'all ain't trying to let us vote. Fuck that shit, you know. They wrote the Declaration of Independence. They said we ain't fuck with y'all no more. Know that. Okay. If we gotta run
That's
hands.
That's the essence
if we
of
gotta
it. Yeah.
Run hands, like, so be it. Just know, this is our turf. Pretty much, right? And Cornwallis tried to fuck them over, and they still.
But wouldn't you say that was for a valiant reason? I mean, they rebelled to create a country, to create a better system of government.
Definitely.
You have these fucking wannabe fascists marching into the Capitol, trying to destroy it. So no, I think there's a huge difference.
I do not agree with them, but it does state. I think it's in one. I think it's in the Constitution. It's the preamble, I want to say. And maybe it is the Declaration of Independence. I feel so terrible I can't remember this because I know them both.
Don't worry, I'll call you out.
But one of the lines is if the government starts walling out, like, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that potentially does mean by any means necessary. Like,
I mean, that's fair, except for the fact that the entire rebellion, quote unquote, if that's what we're calling January 6th, was based on a lie.
Oh yeah, like I said, I think you got to do it for the right reasons, but I wouldn't frown on it 100% of the time. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be necessary at some point in some case to
if those fucking idiots ever do seize power, because they're definitely planning on it. Yeah, then there will be a worthwhile rebellion.
Sure,
in the fucking works.
maybe that's the case. We'll see, I guess.
Did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Is there anything you wanted to bring? I'm sorry, we've been sort of monopolizing the conversation over here, but
you guys have like a thing going on there.
We do. Sort of a bromance situation.
I have a few
It's
things
Please.
that I would like to say.
Please.
Actually,
Patriotism by Kristen.
okay. My first thing I'd like to say: patriotism versus nationalism.
Oh man, this is in my notes too. I'm so glad you're bringing it up.
Would you like to define nationalism for the people at home?
Do you have it? Because I have it in my notes. If you don't,
I just have loyalty to one's nation. What do you have? Do you want to read what you have?
Oh yeah, I have some serious thoughts on this. So I was going to be moving on to this later, but this is perfect. So yes, I have your definition for patriotism right here: love for and devotion to one's country.
Yep.
Nationalism is on the same scale, so you have to understand there's a scale that exists between patriotism, nationalism, and fascism in an increasing scale. So nationalism builds upon patriotism, especially a sense of national consciousness, exalting one's nation over all others, and placing primary inference on promotion of its culture and interest as opposed to other nations. So exalting your country over all other countries. Our country's better simply because it is, would be what I have for nationalism.
I think some can be destructive depending on what nation you is, I guess.
I mean,
I think when it goes into fascism is when it becomes...
Right. Would you like me just to go ahead and read the definition of fascism while we're at it?
Absolutely.
So fascism is also, for the record, incredibly hard to define. Any definition of fascism is going to be different, but in keeping with, as I'm saying here, again,
ironically, the same thing could be said with patriotism.
Ironically. As I said, they exist on the same spectrum. Patriotism, nationalism. Now, the jump from patriotism to nationalism is almost, you can almost just fall into it. And I mean, good Lord, you don't have to spend long on Facebook.
It's like a hole in the ground just to slip.
You don't have to spend long on Facebook to slip from patriotism to freaking nationalism.
What about fascism?
Fascism, you're going to be going a little bit further down the rabbit hole, but it is a political philosophy or movement or regime that exalts the nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized authoritarian state headed by a dictatorial leader with severe economic and social regimentation and forcible suppression of opposition. So you take all those beliefs of nationalism, and now you start adding in the totalitarianism, the authoritarianism, the strict regimentation,
the king-like rule.
That would be your fascism. Fascism, literally, for those that don't know where the word comes from, back in the Roman times, really important officials would walk around with these guys called lictors. And lictors had this big bundle of sticks, which surrounded a big poleaxe. And this was all bundled together and tied. And when the lictor needed to sort of bruff up the crowd to make way for his magistrate or whoever, the magistrate would say, "Lictor, unbind the fasces." This big poleaxe thing was called a fasces, and you would unbind that. And so fascism became the excessive use of the fasces, or authoritarian rule in plain speak. And we just got what a fucking lovely surprise. Lou popping on into the studio on us.
If you remember him from episode 1.
That's right. He's been silently sitting back in the background of most of our pods, but welcome. So he's going to be vibing. Cat's got his tongue. We're just talking about fascism and all that.
Yeah, Sunday evening discussion.
But anyway, back to it, gang. So is that kind of like what you had?
Yeah, what else did you have?
Yeah, you said you had a couple of things.
Mine was pretty basic. I have a question for you, Dylan.
Oh, yes.
Do you know when, fascism was founded, the word?
I believe post 1940s ish or 30s,
Okay,
1940s,
that would
30s,
make sense. 'Cause I think
30s, 40s.
Pre or post McCarthyism?
Pre, because you're talking like Mussolini is like the first known quote unquote he was the first defined fascist. I mean, we could like look through history at a lot of fascists, but Mussolini was the first known one that we sort of like have penciled down as a fascist.
Yeah, so that would go along with like I think patriotism was founded first, like the word.
Oh yeah, certainly.
And then nationalism, and then
the natural
fascism.
progression.
Yeah.
Right. As we just the ideas just kept getting more and more.
So it's like, you taking this shit crazy. We need a new name for it.
That's right.
That's someone that doesn't lie.
And they're like, don't call it by a name, we'll kill you. I also have the origin of patriotism, which is from the Greek word for father.
Ooh.
Which
Papa?
I don't know how
Pater.
it would be pronounced as pater.
Pater.
And then which they then derive. There's the native land, which is patris, which was then used to make patriotic. So like the love for your native land.
Okay.
And isn't it funny? As I said, be a good patriot and a good parent. You know, I mean, it literally comes from the word for father. You know, the father steering.
Kind of like
steering the child.
The gatekeeper for the country.
Kind of funny that we killed off all the natives.
Ooh.
Damn.
Of our own land. Moving on.
Mic drop on that one.
So let's just start this episode over. All right. I know you, Dylan, since everyone can't see where I'm pointing. You seem kind of upset about people buying stuff.
No, it's not that I have a problem with people buying stuff that is like red, white, and blue themed. I don't have the problem, but I have a huge problem when you think that makes you patriotic.
That you need to spend money in order to believe you love America.
I'm just trying to dig into this.
Yeah, no, get me.
Because you got excited when you said that.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, like, is it more so that people are saying that you're not patriotic because you are not doing what they're doing, or is it more that you think that their behavior is wrong?
Probably the first. I would say it. Like, it's just I just see it all as so superficial, and to base. I buy a lot of stuff that's red, white, and blue, and therefore I'm more patriotic than you. Yeah, I take a personal offense to that because I think that patriotism involves a lot of thought. I believe to be patriotic, you have to really know your country. You have to understand your country. You have to understand your country's history, know where you came from, and because you do have to help steer the country. That's part of your job, and I think there's just a lot that goes into it. And so to be told by somebody who's like, well, I got an American flag on my T-shirt, so I'm patriotic and you're not. I'm American and you're un-American.
It doesn't sound like that you're necessarily angry at them for having different views than you. You're mad that whatever force in this country has caused them to believe.
Yes, that's what patriotism is. Whereas I would much rather that people would just try harder and actually do things that were meaningful for the country instead of just
that would be helpful.
Wouldn't it? If people just like actually took an active role and wanted to try to do better,
like got off Facebook.
I mean, that would be one of the best things I think we could do. I think that would be one of the most patriotic acts we could all, if we all just stopped using Facebook.
Calling it Meta now.
Yeah, Meta.
Yeah.
Meta.
Name change.
It's a rebrand.
Pardon?
Rebranding. Yep.
Not the social media site, but yeah, the like home company is going to be Meta.
Yep.
I want to say something inappropriate.
I mean, you can.
Gay.
We can cut it.
Boy, she is really daring over there.
Not against any homosexuals.
Certainly not.
This is 1990s gay.
Yeah, it's whack.
Fucking whack.
Hannibal Buress, whack.
Whack with the green piccolo fade.
I do also see talking about patriotism, nationalism, and fascism, that sort of pipeline that I see. You're talking about Facebook too. That has been so corrosive because patriotism to us has become so superficial and so easy for anybody to just say that you're patriotic, right? All you got to do is just buy some shit and you can just say it. And then you add that with Facebook and its mobilization and its algorithms that just steer you further and further. Did you see the story of Carol Smith? Anybody see the story of Carol Smith? Know who I'm talking about?
Not a deal.
Carol Smith is a fake account that was created by Facebook people. Okay, so people working within Facebook. They want to see what is the average experience of someone on Facebook, right? So they created a fake account, Carol Smith, and they, she was a Trump fan, and she liked a few Republicans, but she wasn't extreme, and they just let it go. They just liked what the algorithm suggested, and it literally took a couple of days, and she was into QAnon groups. Like, it took that amount of time. She was literally into, she went through the patriot. She started out a patriot, right? Just your average American, a little bit right-leaning, and that's okay. But then she gets on Facebook, and if you just follow the algorithms, they immediately steer you into these nationalistic spaces, and then you have these crazy freaking fascistic, just authoritarian spaces that you just get led to.
I think because they hate.
And as I said, it's so superficial because these people think that it's all just words, right? Really. And they get steered into stuff, and I just don't see people putting in enough thought to ward off terrible and terrifying ideas like fascism. And they just get led down it.
I mean, I've seen how, Instagram's kind of, suggested pictures and things like that based off what you like, It's like you look at memes and you look at, NFL, you're going to get a bunch of sports shit and funny memes and whatnot. So I can only imagine, on Facebook, the parent company being even more insidious.
Yeah.
Dare I use that word?
I mean, I don't think they care. Fuck you, social media daddy. And have you ever been lectured to about patriotism from a dude wearing a Confederate hat?
Absolutely not.
You haven't? Oh man, that was
I wouldn't take that.
That was one of the highlights of my fucking life.
When people are wrong, they're wrong, and I don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, they're fucking wrong.
Because this is America.
They're so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. But people actually believe that that's patriotic. And they get brainwashed into believing that somehow supporting a traitorous group within this country, and they don't see the irony while they're arguing with you that they're patriotic. That's what baffles me. It's just stuff like that.
That they think that's patriotic. That's the most patriotic thing they could think of, huh?
Yeah, and like I said, I did want to tear into the fact that we are letting. I say we, not that everyone here agrees with my ideas, but we as in leftist. I think we are letting the right kind of walk away with it, though. I see.
Well, who's really walking away from it?
No, I don't mean walking. I mean walking away with patriotism. They get to just claim it, and the more that they claim it,
well, I guess walking away from it, I should say.
And the more that they claim patriotism as a right ideology, the further away that it's going to get from us, and it's just going to become this thing that we actually hate. Like, dude, I'm not going to lie. Occasionally, seeing the American flag can be a little divisive to me. Like, my first thought when I see a jacked up truck flying down the fucking road with an American flag flying in the back, it's usually not a positive thought about that person.
You'd rather be a conservative flag? What is the rebel flag?
I mean, I wouldn't rather it be that, but it's just irritating to me.
To be a representative of
because
how
of
you feel.
Because of who they have made their patriotic flag bearers. Like the Donald Trumps of the fucking world. I mean,
I saw a shitty TikTok where some mom was like my kid says who's the bad guy with the evil flag, and she's like, that's the American flag, and it's like your kid doesn't know what the American flag is. Trying to say it it's evil. It's like
they don't have to stand for the pledge anymore or say it.
Your kid's dumb. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? The pledge.
I think it's super
brainwashing.
Yeah, I mean, dare I say fascistic?
To the flag
I mean, like, wouldn't if you saw kids doing that in like a video from like North Korea,
it looks fucking crazy in hindsight.
If you saw kids doing it in North Korea, pledging allegiance to a flag,
I was gonna do a
you would
Korean
all
accent.
be like everybody would just be like, "Oh, that's why we live here in free America." And it's like, well, wait a minute. But then if you try taking the pledge out of the fucking school, oh boy, they're up in arms. Oh boy, they don't like that, do they?
Every single day.
I'll never understand how freedom also became known as a right ideology.
What about freedom fries?
Hang on, we can't even get into freedom fries. I have a lot of really hard, salty takes on freedom fries, we can't get into. But I will say this: why did freedom become associated with the right? Like when people think about, I think when you think about the left-right spectrum, it's usually associated with the left believes in equality, and the right believes in freedom. And holy shit, is that fucking stupid. Tell me how the party of lock her up, private prisons, the death penalty, they say who can't get married, what a woman can't do with her body, who can't vote, who's not allowed in, and who can't exist, they're the fucking party of freedom?
All right, I don't think I think everyone should be able to get married, but I don't think a woman should be able to say what she does with her own body.
Chris, get the fuck off my pod.
You would think that.
He doesn't.
He does.
He's just doing it for the lulz. He's willing to
Yeah,
sacrifice
yeah.
this pod for the lulz.
We'll see until this
He
pod gets
50-50
listed
thinks
on the
that.
on the alt-right Facebook feed, where just the algorithms just. Let me just say some words.
I don't want to wind up in the alt-right feed.
What else should I say? How about what is that one girl who does Fox News? Ben Shapiro. That's all I'll say. I'm fucking around.
It's okay.
No, I don't believe that. That was a joke. Don't put us on the alt-right. I'd say anything.
Please don't.
Anything
Please
but
don't.
that.
But if you Google,
Maybe just saying
listen,
alt-right will get us on alt-right.
Here's a fun little game you can play though. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go to your local podcast provider, be it Spotify, be it
Google
Google
Podcasts,
be it Google,
maybe SoundCloud, maybe YouTube.
wherever, and just type in Patriot and see what pops up. It's
And
gonna
see
be
if
a
you
lot of
agree.
alt-right.
See if you agree with it.
It's gonna
I think
be
it's
a
good move.
lot of alt-right bullshit,
Hmm.
and that is fucking stupid.
Well,
Because
maybe
why are they the only ones that are allowed to claim that shit?
You better put #Patriot in this post.
You know what? Carpe diem. Carpe hashtag.
Hashtag Carpe.
Hashtag patriotism.
Patriotism.
Hashtag
See,
nationalism.
What else do I want to get? Was there anything
Yeah,
else?
hashtag nationalism. Hashtag fascism. Hashtag all right.
I also want to say something while you're looking
Please,
at your notes.
yeah. No, go ahead.
9/11. What years were y'all born? I know when you were born.
So I was born in 1996.
1996.
No way. You were born
No, I
96?
wasn't. 1994. What the
That's
fuck?
like
I'm
a
totally lying to
seven. I was
myself.
like,
I'm totally
what?
lying to myself.
Like, do I
Oh,
even know
wow.
who you are?
My girlfriend was
born
born
in
in 96. That was just,
2004.
my name's Billy, and I'm 4 years old.
Yeah, 92.
I like
yeah.
turtles.
9/11 did change a lot.
It did.
It did. We did a whole podcast about it.
We as a country didn't know that could happen to us.
First time I learned about terrorism.
Right?
Oh,
Like
yeah, for
that's the
sure.
first time everyone learned about terrorism. Like it
And
happened in
nothing was
Paris.
the same.
It happens in Morocco. It doesn't happen here. So I think, and then we had like the 9/11, and then a few years later we went right into like the war. And patriotism always goes up in times of war.
I would argue nationalism goes up in time of war.
Well, of course it does, but you said
Inherently, I guess
It's in it.
patriotism.
the
Yeah,
whole
it's part of
thing
the
would go up,
extension, yeah.
right?
A lot more
Um,
patriots make the jump into
And this
nationalism.
is like arguably
Capitalizing once again.
by far our longest war.
Mhm.
Like it's encompassing like both of y'all's adult lives.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But the TV was on a lot because
Right?
we were scared. Like y'all were kids. But
Yeah,
we
what is
were
it, the,
scared, like terrified.
It's shame I can't think of it now. The alert.
Oh, the The heightened state of awareness.
Yeah.
Did you keep up with the heightened state of awareness? Do you know what that is?
When it was like it's a.
Did you
it's
watch
not
it
yellow.
daily?
The flags?
Did you judge
The
your entire life by it?
colors?
Yep. Yes.
No, I didn't judge my entire life by it.
Like, oh, I can't go to the ball today. It's orange.
Because if they're going to hit anybody, they're going to hit one of the many military bases,
Yeah.
not
You
my
think.
school,
Right.
right? Like, not my house,
J. Clyde Junior High, we're coming for you.
That would be insane.
right? So, but I still, like, even though I didn't know anybody that died, like, I still cry every 9/11.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
Yeah.
And I say
I
that
still moment of silence, like,
in earnest.
and that's just one of those days. And I don't know, maybe being like older, it affected me differently because I saw, like, being a child, you don't really pay attention to your parents that much and like what they're doing unless it affects you. But it was rough, man. And I think the right can have what they want if you let them, but we can't focus on what they have
That's fair.
or what other people have or don't have because they might be wrong. And you have to focus on what you do and what you can do, in my opinion. Because that's what can change, like, one person.
Right.
Like, don't have a conversation with someone if they're being ignorant to it.
Yeah.
Just don't. It's not worth your time.
Yeah. I used to be all about like the Facebook fights.
Yeah.
I'm so over it now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like I've just grown to a point where it's like you're not gonna change. I'm not gonna give you my time. Fuck you.
Exactly.
You're not fucking worth my time.
And it's like those are the same people that would never be in a room with
Yeah.
you and have a different
Mhm.
Yep.
opinion and kindly have a
Talk about
conversation with
text.
you about it because they're
Not
not
happening.
ballsy people.
You went and got fucking sucked down the rabbit hole of Facebook, and now you want me to get you out? Fuck that shit. You're on your own.
That's a hard thing to do. I used to say, I think that one of the things that sucks is that, like, because you have those extreme niches, like so the Facebook rabbit holes that you go into, that you almost have to be tolerant that, like, to some people that is patriotism, and it's like to combat that and stay true to what patriotism is, like. Some people, I think, feel like you have to go to the exact opposite extreme to just balance things out. When I think if you stay true to it personally, all will be right.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah, like where you feel like they're I'm paraphrasing, they've taken the flag from you almost.
Yeah,
Right?
That's a
kind of
great way to phrase it. That's a fantastic.
what I'm getting
way to
from
phrase
you. And just don't let them. Like, I'm not.
You can't
By
let
all
'em.
means, please do not fly a flag from your car or anything like
it.
that.
I'm not.
'cause I don't
My
think
fucking
that's too
Yaris,
cool.
it would look ridiculous.
I don't think that's too cool either. But like, they're not gonna stop me from flying my American flag
Yeah.
all year round because I know my holidays and I'm patriotic all year round.
Flag Day?
Hell yeah.
Is it June 14th?
Flag Day.
Someone will correct me if I'm wrong.
Is it June 14th?
I don't
say
know
it
when
is.
Flag Day
I'll say
is.
it's June 14th.
June 14th. Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Maybe it is. Write it in the comments if he's wrong. Please blow him up.
Yeah, let me know. Or we'll correct it later. But I'm pretty sure June 14th. I want to say.
I didn't want to say. Does anyone else think it's dangerous that like it's just becoming acceptable for people to be called un-American for disagreeing with a certain political philosophy?
You know, I was almost going to say this. 'Cause, like, especially in recent elections, it's almost like, and I hate to boil it down like this, but this is almost what it seems like. It's like, we'll give the most recent election example. It's like, you had Biden and Trump, right? And it's almost like, vote for this old guy, unless you're racist. You know what I mean? That's almost what it felt like, to me at least. Like, it's, again, you can almost lump in racism with patriotism at this point.
I just see a danger in that, like the crowd that stormed the Capitol,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they probably really believe that they are the most patriotic of patriotic people, and they would probably be willing to do almost anything to somebody who is against
clearly,
their country.
They made a pretty good case for that.
And if you're telling, if you if you keep being told and you keep telling people that people who believe this are un-American, and you build your whole identity around the nation, you're a fucking nationalist, right? You love your nation above all others, and anyone who's against you, they're a problem. Like, when you have someone who was president like Donald Trump saying that people like me are un-American on TV, isn't there a real fucking danger there that these fucking people are going to just start saying, you know what, you're right, these un-American people, we got to start taking matters into our own hands. Like, that's how this shit happens. Like, it's just such a slow incremental crawl. The fucking
it's
news
still
cycle,
a slope though.
the news
cycle is the worst.
The news cycle to us is just such a barrage of day in and day out that it just slips us by. But if you look at shit that, like, in a fucking year, the amount of shit that can happen, I mean, you have a large portion of this country who, despite every institution of this country telling them that the election was free and fair and had no nefariousness in it, don't fucking care because Donald Trump says otherwise. That's fucking dangerous.
Think he's going to win in 2024?
No, I don't, but
I guess he's still their guy. That seems to be the case.
But speaking of that, we do have an election coming up here in a couple days for us, and hopefully this will be out before then. But get out there and vote. I don't care who you're going to fucking vote for. I honestly don't, but you need to be out there voting because that is how we exercise our voice. There's other ways you can do it. But the best way you can do it, the biggest way you can do it, is by voting.
And don't just get your sticker. They're gonna give you a pen. You can put it back. Just take it. Your tax dollars paid for that pen.
They did.
Take that shit.
Vote twice, get 2 stickers.
Carpe stylo.
Vote twice, get 2 stickers, get 2 pens.
Carpe stylo.
Yep.
But yeah, I think for the most part, that's about what I wanted to say. Unless anyone had anything else.
Any last thoughts on patriotism?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
That's fair. Oh, supporting the troops. Oh, hang on. Let's fucking reel it back real quick.
Oh no, that's like a whole.
It's not. It's not. I'm just gonna give you my thoughts real quick. Support the troops. Keep them out of bullshit fucking wars, and give them the resources that they need to make sure that they're taken care of once they get home.
Yeah, I
How about you support the troops that way? You want to support the troops? Do that. Also, every fucking year, I hate this. On 4th of July, I always see the same post on Facebook, which is, we really need to be careful because there are veterans living in our community, and fireworks can upset them. And then everyone says, yeah, that's really true. And then goes and sets off fucking fireworks. So I think there's something wrong with that. Like, I think, yeah, great point. It probably really is a problematic thing for a lot of veterans, and maybe just fucking stop.
Yeah, interesting choice for this country to make explosions be patriotic. Maybe a bit on the nose, perhaps.
Maybe a bit on the nose.
Maybe.
I think it's from the Star Spangled Banner.
Yes.
But I could be wrong.
Those are bombs, right?
I mean,
they're talking about like explosions in the
bombs
sky,
bursting in air.
Simulated
so we just
simulated war.
And
celebrate it with Chinese fireworks, right?
Yeah.
We love to stick.
So do the Trump hats.
Loose of the flags
China.
are made in China. American flags.
So yeah, I just want to throw that out there real quick. That I think it's a total myth that supporting the troops is a right-wing belief. It's absolutely not. The only way that they support the troops is by sending them to bullshit wars.
Yeah, I think that's the best way we can support the troops is keeping them out of harm's way.
Yeah.
And give them all the resources.
I mean, they definitely do an important thing, and they're there whenever we need them.
Every last one of them.
That doesn't mean that we just have to fucking send them places and put them through bullshit fucking missions that have no real tangible objective without any follow-up planned. Fucking looking at you the past 20 fucking years of my life. Looking at you.
Yep, war on terror.
And I mean, I forget the statistic, but I mean, just a embarrassing number of veterans, a nationally embarrassing number of veterans kill themselves in this country. And
that's we need to work on.
And I say embarrassing as in it is a failure on our part, and it should be an embarrassment that we allow that shit to fucking happen.
Yeah, I guess you could say that too is part of being patriotic.
I think so.
Supporting our troops.
Really supporting them. But that
vote. That's what you do about it, right?
I mean, yeah, like people. I mean, talk to your fucking congressman.
Do that.
Write letters.
Call
Say,
them
hey,
up.
I think you should be
I don't know
getting
about you
more
guys.
resources to the VA, to the veterans.
I've been getting texts. I don't know if you guys have been getting those.
Oh yeah, I
I
always do.
sent so many dick pics.
From Congressman Wiener,
Oh, I've got
The,
so many from all
12th
different
district.
kinds.
Democrat. Yeah, but I've been getting, it's like, hey, Susie Jenkins sure can use your support. And it's like, click the link. It's like, is this spam? It's a great spam scam.
It's probably spam.
I might have to try that next election day.
But yes, all of Virginia, please go out in a couple of days and vote, and do your best to not let baby Trump get in office, please.
Maybe. We'll see Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, depending on how the last election went. And it could take fucking 5 days. You never know.
I think this one's gonna be pretty cut and dry, but I do think it's gonna be close until it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find
I
out.
think it's gonna be a nail biter, but I'll be on the edge of my seat.
We'll find out.
But
Tuesday.
it's been real. It's been fun.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for joining.
Wonderful. Hopefully the first of many.
You're certainly always going to be a friend of the pod now because you are indeed first
Thank
guest.
you for joining us.
You're always welcome back.
Thanks so much.
Our soft-spoken little angel.
And a big shout out to you as well. I want to mention for helping with Halloween. Couldn't have done it without you. Kids were crazy.
Kids were crazy.
It was nuts. You played a major part. It would have been insane.
Y'all's house looks fantastic, though. I mean,
Dude, it was wild.
It just looks great.
It was insane.
This is like a legit haunted house.
Yes.
Studio inside of a haunted house right now.
It was crazy. I had straight up direct traffic. It was bonkers.
We had some serious
Straight-
criers.
Yeah, actual tears. Real actual tears. Children's tears on Halloween. What's better than that?
So do we know what we're going to be talking about next time, or we're going to leave that a mystery?
Let's leave that a mystery.
Going to leave it a mystery.
We'll leave it a mystery like the election candidates come this Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Any last remarks? Want to plug anything?
I have no plugs.
No plugs. You know, so people plug their Instagram, their Facebook, whatever, anything like that.
You know I don't.
If you want us
Social
to
media. I got a TikTok at Animals Eat Foods.
Animals Eat Foods. Follow the TikTok.
Animals eat food.
Animals Eat Food. Is that animals eating food?
Oh, I don't know, Chris.
It's some iteration of that.
Yeah.
Some iteration of that. You'll find it.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
We'll tag it in some way, shape, or form. We'll make sure you get your credit.
Yeah, you'll find me.
Thanks again for being here, talking with us about patriotism. Really helped put things into perspective. So yeah, next episode will be a mystery. You'll find out what it is, when it is, how it is, what it is.
It's going to be great. I look forward to seeing you guys there.
Next time on Sounds Obtuse Podcast. Thank you, Kristen, once again.
You're welcome.
And with that out the way.
Turn back your clocks next weekend.
Yeah, turn back your clocks next weekend.
Best day of the year.
Get that done.
Get that hour.
Yes, and then it'll be cold as shit the next day pretty much.
Doesn't fucking matter. I love it. It's going to be cold, and I'm going to be getting more sleep. I'm there for it. Let's go.
We'll see you guys in the next Sounds Obtuse Podcast. With that said, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Is that
Hello. Hello.
How is this? How is this?
Let's
How
all
is
talk.
this?
Let's
How
all-
is this
let's all-
Why
sound?
don't we all just talk?
Talk again?
I'm gonna keep talking,
That's
I
good.
guess. Look, bars.